Cora wanted me to have a look at the hole in the floor, but I don't think he really knows what that means, you know? Oh, I died. Oh, yeah, I died. Just flights? We having flights out of here? Are you going back to London? The fuck is I even flying to London? How am I going to get home? Power punch. Power punch. If I can't go home, none of you are going. Power punch. 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 Power throw. No, sorry. Thunder throw. Right. Cheeky little pricks thinking they could hide from me. Right, now no one goes home. I hope you're happy. Power shit. Okay. Alright, my job here is done. The hole was in central research? Oh, okay, that was ages ago. Oh, shit. Watch out for fucking mold people, man. Mold fucking people. Oh, and these people. This is a nifty gun, man. Oh, I should want to nope. Just fuck it. I just wanted to grab that barrier. Teach it who was who. Oh. Hello. Power punch. So the table collapsed nicely there. Okay. And there's more over here, sweet. Wonder how you built an alliance with mold people. It was very hard, but basically I just gave them all the bread I waste. And they soon made use of it, apparently. Now, I came down here, didn't I? So I do actually have to go, like, up these stairs. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yep. Got my rope. Got my barrier. Ain't no stopping me now. Unless you're mold people. And here's some mold people. Also, you don't want to confuse mold people with old people. It sounds quite similar, but they're actually somewhat a little different. Wow, that was a big hit of health. That was a double kill though, right? Oh, fuck me. I'm just going back to a normal gun for now. Oh, this shit, there's a nerd there. Oh, fuck off. Oh my god, again. These mold people, man. They're crazy. Shit. I made a peace offering, but apparently they don't want my bread no more. They could already get it for free. Old people do. I mean, these could be old people. Because old people probably get mold on them, you know, more. Like, just growing on their clothes and shit. That makes sense. You know, Pierce is a sniper. Yeah. It's fun. It doesn't really snipe that much. I can't aim in more with it, though, can I? Boom, baby. Quick draw. Okay. Onward. Don't look at me. Out-strategy them? Okay, I can do that. I'm just going to in-strategy myself first. Alright, I know my strategy. Excuse me. How you doing there? Oh, fucking hell. Oh no, it's gonna be too hot. Let me have some water. Yep, there he goes. Okay. Fucking hell. Oh, come on, man, that does so fucking strong. Maybe I need to change my guns up. Yeah, I don't know how that strategy didn't work. My strategy was to murder them. Maybe I'll try a different strategy this time. I'll herd them. Yeah. I could shatter their worlds. Let me try spin again for a bit. Speed run. I maybe made a bad error with that speed run decision. And my gun choice. Come on. Let me bash these nerds. Oh, you cheeky bastard. Alright, this gun is worse than the first one. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, Grandmaster for sure. Right, so spin was really bad, so let's just try shatter for a bit. I didn't remember. I thought spin was alright earlier, but it's just then it did like fuck all. I don't know, maybe because I was in a bad spot as well, but. I can't fucking take it over. Oh. There we go. So herding them does seem to be doing alright at the moment. Especially with these 2-for-1 shots that I'm being allowed. No, you protect me. Okay. That's it. Kill your own kind. Yeah, eat a space. Good shit. No. Now you betray your own kind. I'm using Betray Your Own Kind quite a lot more than I thought it would be, so... maybe that's what I should think about for later use. Oh, you got a buddy over there, go deal with him. Or better yet, let me use my actual sniper. Hells to the fuck yeah. Okay, it was much easier when I didn't die. I'll keep that in mind. Don't die. Huh. Still just sounds weird. I feel like these mold people, I feel like they're gonna piss me off. At least I got my shotgun. Be chill. Okay. That poor woman's floating almost upside down. But that might be her thing. She might just enjoy that. I've been here, right? No, I haven't. This is still a new area, so I do need to smash all this. Oops, I actually went inside it. Ooh! Thank God I didn't blow that up, because that would have hurt me. Oh, hello. That was a pretty good one shot. All about those singulars, you know. Prime candidate program. I don't have the clearance yet. Can I pick you up? Oh, I can! Now I have a friend. Hey guys, I made a new friend today. His name's Peterson. He's he looks like he's gurning. I think he might have taken some ecstasy. Dance, Peterson. He's a pretty good dancer. He should take his wife out more though, you know, he never takes her dancing anymore. I'm just gonna pop you down just there. Just stay right there. I'll rekindle their marriage, don't worry. Cara Watson can do anything she puts her mind to. Come back. Here, come over here. Oops, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to go down here, Peterson. I'm just going to pop you down here. P6 settle breached. Oh shit. And he's breached.
Has the Hiss found him?
Probably.
Are you there with him? Can you protect him?
I feel like we should check out the Prime Candidate program. That's clearly where they want us to go though. Let's go Prime Candidates first. Because I was toying with that idea. Oh no wait, that's through that door. I can't go through anyway actually. No. We'll find out more about that later. News. He's rolling hard, baby. Look at this guy. It's like he's preparing for free falling. Oh, okay. Stay there a minute. I've got to do the rule of 3. 1. Alright, so that's Dylan maybe. 2. 3. No, Peterson! Oh, shoot. Guess some friendships are just never meant to be eaten. Yeah, nothing weird here. Alright. Usually these bits are a bit odd, but huh. That seems fine to me. Someone spilled some Vimto. Oh, this room's a bit weird though. Ooh. Okay. And now that other room is probably gonna be fine now when I hit this one more time. Boom shakalaka. Okay. 1. Oh shit, I knocked my smoke over. 2. 3. Hey, Peterson! Oh, you waited for me, dude. You could have carried on about your day. I'm glad you didn't, though.
It's been a long time since Dylan and I knew each
I wonder
other.
if Dylan would have liked my new friend.
I've wondered about him. What kind of man he'd grow up to be. Are things as hard for him as they were for me?
Probably harder, seeing he's been kept in a cell just being called P6. Why do I have to drop? Come now, I'm not allowed to bring him any further? That's some bullshit. Oh. Whoa! What, did Peterson just get squished? Oh, Peterson got squished into fucking oblivion. God damn. Well, I mean, don't have friends that you're not willing to get squished, I suppose. It's the old saying. Alright, Stream Raiders, let's go. This time we're gonna smash it. We're gonna go killing field. So these guys get crazy good stuffs. And Pacropa's Paladin there. Oh, people out there so people couldn't input the rogue there. Bless you, birdie. Okay, we got this. We still outnumber them at the moment. Although the sumos will break down into baby sumos. Let's fuck them up. Oh shit! We took that one out in like one hit though. All right, now it's just time for chests. Beautiful. Oh, laser games with the long distant one. Beautiful. Oh, is he gonna get it? Go on, get it, get it. Ah, someone else got there. That's cool. Whoever's got the little like Mario cactus thing, that's pretty sick. GG everybody, we did it. EZ. And Laser Games get that one for his beautiful long distance chest shooting. But another 4 chest one because why not? Is what they said when it was offered originally. This time I put my rogue down. Get fucked. I actually need to put archers down, so I don't know why I keep doing that. But it was a sonic cactus, actually, Kyle. Yeah, Jesus.
Popping up all over the place.
Learn your things.
What's going on with the items?
Hi, what's going on with you in general?
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Is there something I can help you with?
Sure.
I'm Jessie, the new director.
And janitor.
I need to get inside.
New director. Right. Well, okay. Hello, I'm Frederick Langston, the
Hi, Freddie.
Panopticon supervisor.
For Rodriguez.
It's not the best time for a tour. We have hiss everywhere, numerous cell breaches, and system failures across the board, but...
Sounds like a good time for a
you're the
tour. Why have you let it get this
so,
way?
Here we go. Founded by Zachariah Trench, the Panopticon is our state-of-the-art repository for all altered items.
I don't have time for this.
Yeah, fast forward, bro.
I was told Dylan Faden was kept here. Can you help me find him?
Faden. Sure. Darling wanted him somewhere secure and isolated away from people. He's in the maximum security cells, upper level.
Okay.
But there's currently a pressing matter, ma'am. We've got an object of power loose in there.
We'll murder it.
It's wrecking the place.
That's fine,
The
we'll murder it.
Betikov TV. It's a real doozy.
TV?
Salvador took a team in to handle it, but no one's heard from them for hours.
Did you say they're fighting a TV?
This is a Category 5 OOP we're talking about.
pronounced
If we don't
OOP.
contain it soon, it will tear the Panopticon apart. And we don't want all those altered items getting loose, ma'am. No, trust me.
Why would I trust you?
Dylan's in there.
Doesn't even just tie up properly. Wear it
Open
or
the
don't
door,
wear
Langston.
it. You know, Jesus.
I'll handle it.
If you say so. I usually tell first-timers not to touch anything, so,
Fuck you, I'm your
let's do
boss.
that.
I'll touch whatever I want as long as, you
do it
know,
for you.
I can't have a potential
And please,
lawsuit.
ma'am, call me Fred.
I'll call you Rodriguez
Thanks,
and you'll fucking
Langston.
like it, you bitch. Thanks, Lanston, get him! She gives no fucks. How you guys doing? What are your names? This piece of shit over here didn't even introduce you to. Who are you? Subdue the Benikov TV object. Yeah, I've got to fight a TV. Alright, cool. Just want to make sure. Do I have any other stuff I can ask you?
Is the TV back in its box yet?
Yes.
No rush or anything, it's just, you know,
That's good.
an ongoing concern.
Solved it. You can go back up there now. What's it like working at the
Do you
bureau?
like working at the FBC?
Sure. I mean, yeah, the drama's a bit much. But
Place
I
is
get
cool.
better benefits
I'm looking
here
forward to
than
going back
whatever
into that
postal
labyrinth as well.
service. I checked. Better healthcare. That's not to say I don't like my job, ma'am. Been here over 15 years. No one knows the Panopticon collection better than me.
Would you want to walk me through the space then?
Close to them, in a way.
Oh,
I can't tell if that's creepy or normal here.
creepy. Definitely still creepy. Tell me more about your rituals, though. That sounds like fun.
How do you keep the altered items under control?
It depends on the item. Each one has different needs. Ritualistic touches go a long way. Singing to them,
Did he say
splitting
Oh,
the
sick.
lights
I
3
could do that.
times, that sort of thing. It's not superstition if it works.
No, it's still be superstition. Just don't wait for no one else.
What's the
I can't
difference
sync my
between
TV to get it
objects
to
of
do
power
shit, and I have
altered
tried.
items?
Think of them like storms. Objects of power are like tropical cyclones or hurricanes for the uneducated. They're big, rare, and scary. Of course, directors can just bind the OOP and become the eye of the storm. Altered items are more like weird thunderstorms.
I like
Some may rain
thunderstorms.
Frogs, some may rain corn.
I like frogs,
They
I like
all rain
corn.
Something.
I like most some
And how does
things.
the hiss factor into all that?
Sounds pretty sick.
It's changing them,
Oh.
making them aggressive. Now
I don't know if I'd like aggressive
I don't
corn.
know. Knives, knife rain.
What?
Nice metaphor.
Oh. Knife rain. You'd have to get a pretty hefty umbrella. And even then,
Did
the
you
rain
work
sometimes
closely
comes
with
at an angle.
Trench?
Oh, he spent most of his time with Darling and all them. The inner circle. Not that I care.
Trench certainly
Totally
had his
cares.
favorites.
He did stop in occasionally to scowl and smoke. Did you know the Bureau has a no smoking policy? It
Really?
does. Just not for Trench. Still, he
I was
is the
gonna
one
say,
who
man.
puts aside funding
I know
for
X Files
the
was a long time ago, but it seemed like a lot of
The
people were in
man
the Bureau
did
smoke.
have vision.
Good. That's good. So he wasn't blind.
How did you get this job?
Started as a junior agent because my uncle knew a guy. From there, I got put on a desk
Nepotism.
until an accident left the containment sector severely understaffed. At which point, I got bumped up to management. Put in a steady 8 hours a day for another 10 years, and voila, supervisor.
GG.
I just picked up a gun.
What?
Or a gun picked me.
Okay. That's a good. I mean,
I'll
that's
see
a
you
bit of a
later,
weird
then.
thing to tell you when he told you.
I'll
So
be
I got
here.
promoted and stuff, and then she's like, "Yeah, I've got a gun."
The Panopticon.
Honestly, Kara Watson is a bit unhinged.
But that object of power might wreck this place before I find
In case
it.
there's a fire. Ah, fire! It's actually just a bee. Construct charge. Alright, 6. So I need to get more source and more remote fort. So I'll hold out for those for now. Okay. The countermeasures though. Where are we? What room? We're not in maintenance at all at the moment, are we? So kill his troopers, kill his troopers, kill his warps into the maintenance sector. What's the difference between these two? So I'm going to abandon that. I'm going to keep abandoning them and... will it give me back... I'm hoping it will give me the Pierce one. Although we may have to fight some more of those, so that's maybe not a bad one. Shoot him! Shoot him in his face! Charlie? Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, I got his rocket! That was cool. I didn't know I'd unlocked that yet. Alright. My house. I saw something there. Stop looking at me. Oh, hello. Ah, so that's an object of power that's like a postbox. That's cool. The object of power is a little basket. Nice. Can't get in any of these. This one is a fan. Okay. I mean, there isn't a fan nowadays. That one's like a mallet. Like Harlequin's mallet and shit. Oh, shit. Elevator. Oh, what does that mean? Is there more on the other side? Was there more over there I should have looked at? I feel like these were the first.
Something went wrong with the Bureau's plan to make Dylan the next director. Marshall made it sound like it was all Dylan's fault, but
Probably was Dylan's fault.
how much of it was what the Bureau did to him?
Nah. It was all
I
Dylan.
think she's telling me everything.
We all know it. We all know, man. It was a fuck about at school. He's a fuck about life, you know what I mean? Fucking Dylan, mate. Honestly. Honestly. Bye, Billy. Hello! I'm guessing you're looking for me. Because you floated pretty close. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. So big and so strong. Come a little bit closer. I'm all alone, and the night is so long. Dude, oh my god, the night was just pure oxygen.
Hello? Is anyone there?
I'll buy it. That's a fridge. Hey-o. How you doing, mate?
What are you doing in there?
Oh, thank God. Look, someone has to watch this object at all times, or it deviates. My shift replacement never showed up. Can you help me?
Damn.
Just back away.
I can't. I'm
Get
sorry.
him! I gotta
There's
back
an
away.
emergency. I'll come back. I promise.
I won't.
Okay, just don't forget. I can't stare at this thing much longer.
What if he blinks? I gotta help this dude, haven't I? Fridge duty. After Dylan has been found. Oh, you fuckers! I can't even help this dude right away. I've got to wait till afterwards. When I will definitely forget. It's like, don't forget me. Knowing full well that I will. It's just how I do things. Oh, at least he's right next to a portal, actually. A claim control point. That's actually very useful. Oh my god, that sounds like gunfire. Oh my days. Excuse me. Oh, you son of a bitch. Fuck, I keep... There we go. Oh, now he turns up. I think I killed my dude. But he did have it coming. Fortified unit. That seemed to be where I was going to go before. I'm going to name you Peterson too. You're my new friend. Oh, no, fuck you then, I guess. Yeah.
That's the object of power. I need to cleanse it.
Need to cleanse your mama. Get him. Just giving you guys a little time to stop laughing from that you mama joke. Alright, that should be it. That should be it. Calm down. Calm down, honestly. Oh, sweet. Oh, that's cool. Oh. Right. Yep, cool, cool. I'm digging it. Righto. You've got the bricks, I get that, but I've got the floor. Although you seem to want the floor as well. The floor might be a wall now. Yeah, or the other way. The stereo? Man, this TV's savage. Now, I remember old TVs being a hassle. Like, you didn't have many channels. You had to do the aerial shit with it. Obviously, coating it sometimes. I don't remember it being this bad, though. Okay. Guess I'll follow the swirly stuff. Right. Oh. Yep. Shit, definitely topsy-turvy. What? Do I have to go down there first? Because I'd rather kill them from up here. It'd be much easier. Oh shit. Oh shit, it's all gone red. Frick, Salvador. Oh, Salvador got me quickly, okay. We'll try that one again, I guess. But he seems fairly strong. Right, yeah, still gotta go back over here. Yeah. Oh fuck. Fuck. Oh, he's right there, fuck. Oh shit, my cover. Fuck, got wrong again. I always fuck up on this. Oh, that's him, right? Sweet.
Salvador, the head of security.
Not anymore, it
This team
isn't.
didn't stand a chance against this. No one here does.
Oh yeah, you're good now, buddy. You can just let your head pop whenever you want. Cheers. Right, let's clean this fucking dirty TV, man.
TV. Another object of power going nuts.
Superhero over the obstacle. Okay. Use levitate to complete the astral plane set challenge. Oh, well, isn't that neat? Oh shit! If I can levitate, you're not a fan of it, Bax. See you, Ned. Power punch. Oh, I don't actually need to hold space, and I just need to hold it till I get to my highest bit. Alright, that's actually much easier. And I can still do, okay, so I can still do everything up here. Nice. Yeah, levitate seems alright.
Okay, dealt with the TV. Now I can find Dylan.
We can try. Unmapped area. Oh, okay, shit. Oh yeah, of course, because we're still in that place, just. Oh, I'm gonna die horribly here. No! I knew I was gonna get hit, but fuck. It's like the Warlock's jump from Destiny. Oh, yeah. I remember that, yeah. Man, that was a crazy long time ago. I suppose for that bit, it'd be good to like bang on the shield and then do it. I haven't thought about doing that before. But I need to combo some of this stuff a bit more. Well, I wanted to get back out of here anyway, right? So I think I just, if anything... I think I did... Yeah, I did well. That's just where I wanted to be. Although we want to get in here. No, this was. Oh, this was where I. This is where I would have come out of, right? I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I can't go through that door. Right, so that's the one I was in, right? This is... Yeah. Yeah, this is the one I just failed in. So let me walk down to the end of Twisted Passage and see if anything's changed. I think I was just trying to get out of here, but... Hey! And Juan Itachi, thank you very much for, thank you very much for the follow there, buddy. Yeah, oh yeah, no, because I was... Yeah, I literally died here last time. I was trying to get back out there. But okay. Fucker. Oh, fucker. Okay. And that's baby! How you doing, my man? Like I said, so this room's just permanently like this now, right? Oh, hello. Oh shit. No! Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, whew. Maybe a windowed room we can get into. Yeah, I was thinking that. But just spend some time with Jess, you guys, doing some RP today. Not sure. Maybe, maybe not. I'm pretty tired today. As I am most days, but... I mean, you can't see shit in this game at times, man. I should definitely just turn the fucking camera up or some shit. Do you know what? I'm actually going to do that. Oh, everything seems kind of green now, though. Oh no, that's too much brightness. It's just a dark game, I guess. But this is a bit better. Just land on that. Yeah, nice. And I don't speak Spanish. No, I'm I only know one language. But how you doing? Welcome. Well, that's lame. I was hoping we might run into a test shot. You may do, you may. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty tired, but yeah. Sophie's running into the apartments last night and someone else to stream. Oh, really? Nice. Tell just me say hey. But don't miss anything else. Okay. So, ooh, I don't think there's any other windows or anything necessarily here. Here's someone's rubble out there. Health chat. Oh shit. They know I have powers beyond their measure. Okay, we're living that higher life now. P6 cell. I think that's where we want to go. You know. Oh, there's a big old swan over there. Oh, thank you. Hey, Jesse, how you doing? Good to know yourself. Forget you was also watching. No worries. Yeah, how are you finding it? Yeah, I haven't had like really any interaction with you guys yet. So, yeah, how are you doing? Like, have you found anybody else that's quite like fun to like RP with and stuff as well? What we got here? Oh, that's some birthday balloons. This one, a big old swan boat. Nice. Could see that from a mile away. What's this one? Just a water cooler. They're pretty powerful. Fuck this computer. This one's a crowbar. Alright. Morgan Freeman style.
Dylan.
Gordon Freeman style.
He's so close.
Go find Dylan. Let me know if you see him. Oh shit. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown him. Dylan! It's me and my buddy. Boop-a-doop. Oh, didn't open. Oh, there we go. Oh, I just had to remove Boop-a-doop. Right, let me just say I think I missed some stuff in chat. Give me 2 seconds. But you're heading out now. Okay, no worries. You haven't had a chance to run into many people. Fair. You're not a huge fan. It's boring, but you try and like it. Yeah, it's about what you like find to do in it and stuff as well, for sure. Just never see anyone. Okay. You've done a dumb quick review, but I hadn't worked at that. Well, how many people are on when you're getting on? Because there's usually a good amount of people. I may create other characters for crime, so I may join him if you're more fair. I think you can only have 4 people per crime thing, if I remember right, but that would make all 4 of you. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said hello.
Jesse.
Oh, yeah? You actually know my name? Oh yeah, my name's actually Jesse in this. Or Cara Watson. Or Stream Raiders. Wait, what's that?
Are you there?
No, I wanted to...
Emily?
Shit.
He's gone. Dylan isn't here. He might be nearby.
No one even to that.
Or maybe the hiss got to him. I don't know.
I think most people just chill at Legion Square. It's also hard to find people to do things right heading to Legion Square sometimes. Yeah, I mean, using Twitter on it is the most vital thing, I think. Just like doing stuff like, I'm going to go do this. Does anyone want to join me? And post that on the Twitter. And quite often you'll get at least a couple of people turn up. Spook other people, and then we've also had 2 other interactions that last a sec.
I have to see my brother.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, me and Bakura watching somebody, and they said like a good thing is with like RP is always going with the mindset of yes and. So like if someone says like, do you want to do this? Just say yes, and then try and like add more to it, kind of thing. But we're trying to start people to, they say like one word and leave it out there. Maybe just run up to them and go like news, 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 and tell them something. I'll definitely stop and talk to you if someone ran up to me like that. After spending a year being hunted and killed by an uppy version of Griefy Jesus and becoming your nemesis, man, if somebody came in as actual Jesus in that game, I would have a lot of flashbacks. It would be hard to not want to just murder them whenever I see them. So coming up with shit your character needs help with, yeah, that's it, 100%. I haven't had a chance to say yes to anyone really fair. Oh, guess what? You found some free bananas, PTW, and they were actually in pretty good nick. Like, Fizz guided the story last time we played by making us go over the... Yeah, that's it, yeah. I made us go, like, to the sea to take some, like, some ecstasy, and then we tried to work through my trauma. Didn't say yes when I told you to get my apartment.
Why do you think that?
It's because... roomies. You made a new friend today, PT? Yeah, boy! Tell me more, my man. So what do we say in this episode? We say no!
So, she wanted to see the world. Did she ever mention any place in particular? Why? We like to ask questions around here, you know that. Any particular cities, towns, landmarks, anything like that?
I don't remember.
What about family and friends? Were you close to
The water went down the wrong hole. Nearly came out fully. I managed to recover. But I was going to have to spit it out.
Dylan, wait, we're not...
That one was fine. That one went down the right hole. God damn. Alright. Yeah, so you all that water trauma, I nearly drowned myself. Then our boat got stuck. Yeah, right. So good for him. Your character go over trauma. It's not fully over it, but he's definitely working through it. Excuse me. Better than going up the wrong hole. It depends from whose side, I guess. Back to smoking. Soothe my lungs. Did he, like, leave me a note, or...? Oh, he did! He did! Jesse! Ah, he remembers me. Oh, he said it everywhere. Bless him. And he has powers, just like his old sis. Wasn't that adorable? Ah, this is where he shat. I thought you was used to having it down all holes. Oh, get him. Your character still has a fear of heights. Oh, we should take him to the hills. We'll go up Mount Chiliad. That'd be sick. When he's prepared, yeah. I've still got some residual water down there. It's alright, it would just go to my lungs, and then, you know, the lungs would just evaporate it out. That's what happens when you get water in your lungs. It's fine. Okay, so I can float around and stuff, but I feel like something should be a guan down here. Maybe up on his roof, where there's like a... this. It's pretty cool that they gave him his own like stage show though. Like I wonder if they let him put on his like own performances of like musical numbers and shit, and they did like different light shows for him and that. I could see that being quite chill. I mean, being kidnapped and held against your will is not great, but if you get to still have some fun with it, you know. Hey, give me that rock. Pretty good lighting system. If only let me climb up there, I want to escape. Why won't they let me escape? I'm sure that's where Dylan went. The massive opening in your fucking ceiling. I probably need to look down there more, right? Or well over there. Doesn't look like there's anything over there. Okay. Oh, wait, is that something over there? Oh, Stream Rage is ready? Let me check. Alright, yeah, let's go. Sweet. Did that happen whilst I was dying? There we go, get all of those in. Beautiful, let's go. That's right, Kyle, yeah. Cheese and way. How much you getting all those chests? Get wrecked. And GG everybody. Okay, and the winner of this one is Super Laser Games. Beautiful. And now onto the boss man. Oh shit, and I did a thing. Let me get that quick. Beautiful. Guten Tag. Aloha. So, loyalty chest time. Let's fucking go. Big boss man. Everybody's gonna win this one because we're great. Let's go. Actually, I could have kept it. Let's keep it there. Why would I go elsewhere? Let's kick it. Oh, I was hoping not a door here. It's not a door. It's not a door at all. Nah, they're strong lights, okay. I don't want to research that. This is way more interesting. She's potentially found... Well, she's near to where her brother was. Come on. That's honestly such a bright light. Like, no wonder he was a bit aggy. Oh, I've just got to go. Oh shit! I've just got to go back to speak with Emily in the boardroom. So I just need to get out of here now. There. I'm just gonna float on up to her and be like, "Yo, look what I can do now." You're sick. Oh yeah. Lo siento? Would that mean Lo siento in Spanish? So I'm learning. Get him. Right, so yeah, we just got to go back to the boardroom. So, where was my fast travel? Down here somewhere, right? I think over here. Get in my house. Is there any more? Is that all you got? And that was the twisted room, right? What was it? Yeah, this is the twisted. Yeah. Was there, yeah, there was a fast travel in here, right? No. No, there wasn't. Or maybe there was. On the bridge? Ah, okay. There was a dude right here. I saw it. Did I assume I passed him? Oh, they fucking all spawned back. Alright. Oh. Ah. Shit. Oh, it means I'm sorry. Oh, okay, fair. Well, that balked. Shit.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So I turned my TV down. I was like, why didn't just mute? Yeah. Yeah. No luck, I'm afraid. Muy malo. More bread. Bones. Okay. Yeah, muy malo means more bread. You know, you should say please, you know. Now, we might be somewhat fortunate. If it saved after I got to Dylan's room, then it'll only put me back to where I wanted to be anyway. So it's just like a real long fast travel. Muy malo means very bad, or I'm just very bad for thinking that was more bread? Probably the first one. Boffin. Does that mean butt? Or boffin? Means butt and boffin. Alright, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I just need to go speak with Emily in the boardroom. Sick. Alright, so let's throw some more shit. Launch large enemies. Yep. Sounds good. Hey, additional mod slots. Sweet. Oh, and this one's only 1. Sick. And this one's 8. Fucking hell. So hold and launch up to 3 objects. Energy now recovers whilst holding launch objects. Oh, that's pretty good. Right, so I need to save up for that one. But we got another mod now, so that's cool. And we can make charge. Alright, sick. So... let's switch up that to charge. Oh man, we keep picking up so many of these. Okay, so projectile speed. That's the name for it. Okay, let's give that a go. Oh, okay. So that's just one. Then you hold it for two. Okay. So you hold it for 1, 2, or 3. That's pretty cool. Fizz needs to work on his slang and other languages. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't really travel, so do I? You need to go down the other side for the free objects.
You suck!
For free objects. Oh, you mean on the upgrade things? No, oh, is that all on the left? Oh, so that's not a right-hand side one. That's actually a left-hand side one that just curls round. Savage. Alright. Actually, I don't want the elevator. What's this about? Oh, have I not listened to this already?
This is Win Salvador.
Oh. Sorry, Salvador, you're long gone, mate. Oh, put a record on. Alright. I enjoy music.
I found this token. Any idea what it does?
That is a jukebox token.
Hey, this isn't Emily. This is not who I'm not going to talk to.
The weirdest places, like bad pennies. The Rangers use them to activate an old object of power.
Also, I need to go back and save that dude, right? But I haven't. It said I had to do it after I found Dylan, but I haven't found
Does
Dylan.
it have any good songs?
Nope, just the one record. Hey, be careful turning it on though. When it's playing, you get a free trip to the formation.
The formation. That sounds ominous.
Why does it send you there?
The Bureau has been wondering that for years. I mean, it's just a pile of rocks built by God knows
Dia
who.
Fizz tiene azul
Well, researchers have
pelotas
confirmed it's in the same
por
threshold as the quarry. Well, no one's ever been able to map a physical route to the formation from there.
Well, azul.
So it's in the quarry.
It's
You just don't know where.
it's a name.
Pretty much. We only send in annual
Pelotas
expeditions
clearly
to the
means
formation. Checkups,
potatoes.
calls them. This year's team went
And
in the day
un
the hiss arrived.
means
Come to think of it,
the.
someone should have brought them back hours ago.
I can go in and take a look.
I'd appreciate that. The jukebox is kept just past the security booth over there. Just put in the token and enjoy the ride.
Alright. Well, I've talked with you enough.
I have to go.
Me too. Oh my god, did she have to write everything in a made-up gibberish code?
Jukebox can be constructed. Okay, so
Spaceship, god.
I mean, maybe we should do that one quick. It's just a side mission, right? Where did he say it was? Around here somewhere? He said it's for a door, right? I wasn't fully listening. Jukebox is not quick. Alright, let's go speak to Emily in that case, because she's right here.
The resonance emitted from the HRAs is purely antithetical to every variant of the Hiss signal it can arrange.
Although, I feel like... Can I go back to that guy? Can I go back to that guy and help him now? Or is that just a wasted cause until I've done a bit more? Because I don't want to talk to her necessarily. And like, have that dude die. You have to find Dylan first. Alright, fine. Alright, cool.
It's happening. After all these
suppose that is
years,
why she said she couldn't do
Dylan
it.
is here. But am I too late?
Yep.
How is he?
Bad.
I need to know.
Terrible.
He's clearly been affected by the Hiss, but it's different than any other manifestation we've recorded. Maybe what makes you so special is genetic. He was a prime candidate. Or maybe it's Polaris protecting him, something else affecting the situation. I need to run tests. He seems
Is that what that meant?
more
Nice,
in
nice.
control, more present.
I want to see him.
My brother? Or is he?
He's still your brother. Just he might have
course.
mutated.
Now, Marshall set up an HRA-warded cage to contain him. It's on the upper floor, up the stairs.
Okay, I need to go.
English, motherfucker.
Jesse.
Do you speak it?
Be careful.
Alright, well, thanks. Have a nice day. Speak with Dylan. Alright. Sounds good. Okay, so... yeah, let's speak with Dylan and then we will do the fridge duty and record on. So Dylan's literally just up here. Wait, what? I definitely seems to be back in here. Dilly boy! Oh, that's she. Oh! Hey, did they just have him here the whole time then? They just wasted my fucking time this entire...
Happiness comes, white pearls, but yellow and red in the eye. Through a mirror inverted is made right. Leave your insides by the door. Push the fingers through the surface into the way. You've always been in there. You want this to be true. We stand around you while you dream. You can almost hear our words, but you forget. Through time.
Don't interrupt. Just got anything I can nick? Nah. You alright, mate?
Shit. That's Dylan. Can you hear me? Oh, come on, Dylan. I'm here. I found you.
You've always been in there. You want this to be true.
Do you know who I am? Oh, you know me. Say it.
You are Dylan Faden's sister.
Yeah.
He's talking in the third person. Always a good sign. Do you know who you are?
Not Dylan.
No.
Trench and Darling made sure of that. I'm P6.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
P6.
Yeah, I can see on your shirt.
But I'm better now. The hiss made me better. Push the fingers through the surface into the wet.
Oh.
You've always been the new you. You want this
Can you
to
stop
be
that?
true.
Please. Not exactly the reunion I'd
You
hoped
stop
for.
being so weird, Dylan, bro.
It feels
Just wanna
good
chat.
to say those words. I want to say them. They sound good. They make me feel good. Don't you want to say them too?
No.
Why not?
Fuck off, no.
Why not? Sure.
You need to help me get this thing out of his head.
Just walks in here,
If he is
right,
still
and
in there,
names
if there's
this enemy to
anything
his.
Left, you have to
But then
help me.
everyone knows it called to his. Yeah, right? Yeah, yeah. It's just... although there's a lot of stuff about this game where it's like, the fuck's actually happening.
Through the hole in you, we let you in. You've always been here. The only true. A copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Stop it!
Oh.
Peel.
Shit.
Oh, orange pills. She hates
He can
orange
see
pills.
you. This is not safe.
We found Polaris together with my sister when we were
Oh.
very small, in ordinary, in the desert, through the door opened up by the slide projector.
Ah, shit.
But she didn't help when Trench took me away.
Oh, shit.
She didn't give me any
Hello,
powers.
Clays.
All the powers
And Noah's Mojo, you have a great
are
one, my man. Thank you very
powers.
much for coming by. Fuck, a massive Twitch.
She didn't help when they locked
Yeah,
me
have a
up
great
for
one, man. Thank you very much for
years.
coming by, dude. We just getting freaky deaky at the moment.
After the song time for applause, we build you till nothing remains. The egg cracks and the truth will emerge.
Cora Tiana on Crystal de Jack. Cora loves the Crystal de Jack.
The Bureau brought the slide projector back here with me. And the Bureau did what the Bureau does.
Shaved his head.
They used it. And they found...
Yeah?
They opened the door up to the hiss.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I can thank them for.
Oh, to the J Crystal for it.
There it is. We stopped the Altered World event in Ordinary when we shut down the slide projector.
Yeah.
And now the projector's here.
Yeah.
An earworm is a tune you can't stop humming in a dream. Baby,
I think
baby,
I don't think I hum songs in my dreams.
just plastic. So safe. Nothing to worry about.
Well, it's been a good family reunion, but
Funny.
maybe we should just go home.
I welcome the hiss. I let it in. To get rid of her. The hiss set me free.
How's it working out?
Polaris is using you. The Bureau is
This
using
is Spanish.
you. are a puppet.
I mean, I have no idea what it says.
You can almost hear our words, but you forget.
If we shut off the slide projector, maybe that will stop the hiss.
Maybe.
Maybe it's not too late for my brother.
You must see
Oh,
the truth for
no.
yourself, Jesse. Sister. The horrible truth
She
about
said
the
sister,
Bureau.
not Dylan's sister.
The hiss
He's
is the
coming
better
around.
option. Go to the prime candidate program in the containment sector. I have the key card to get you there.
Oh.
Salvador wanted me to have it.
Wanted?
Ah.
Bullshit. I saw what the hiss did to Salvador.
Sister
What it
thing so we
turned
can
him
go into that
into.
cool labyrinth place.
Okay, Dylan. I'll go. I want to see the truth for myself.
I'll go. But only to look for the slide projector.
Yeah, word.
You can help me. We can end this.
So how's he gonna give me that key card? Oh, he's just done it anyway. Yeah, mate.
I don't know what else I'm hoping to find here.
Tiene la
Dylan.
bota de un gato. The bottle of
Can we
Gatorade?
I'd like to tell you about a dream I had last night.
Go on then.
Off to a good start.
Okay. I'm listening.
I was back in Ordinary. Before all of this happened.
Sure. I mean,
But in
I
the
did tell someone to
dream,
stop using English.
I was
Oh,
alone.
to someone to use English so you guys
was
could stop that.
just
It's true. It's true.
me.
That person, poor one's like,
I was
come on,
the only
guys.
child. A girl. My name was Jesse Dylan
Oh, shit.
Aiden. But
He
then
was
the Bureau
separated
came,
by the
caught me,
projector.
brought me back here, locked me up.
That kind of makes sense because she's had like weird meta-esque thoughts.
Have you ever noticed that our names, Jesse, Dylan, they could be girls' names, boys' names, could be anything.
Same with Charlie.
Don't you find that weird? I find that
Sun
weird.
pitch cat boots. What?
Sure.
What the hell was that? Is he trying to mess with me?
No, he's telling the truth.
You are a
Alright, well that was nice.
The thunderstorm distorts you. Happiness comes, wipe her.
Maybe Dylan's still in there. Maybe there's
Rule
a way
of three.
to reach him.
I'd like to talk to my brother, please. Dylan?
Dylan would like to tell you about a dream he had just now.
You already told me about
This
your dream,
again?
dumb nuts.
I was going to be the new director of this place. I helped you get a
No,
job
I did a
here
fisherman. Alright, cool.
so that we could be together. You were an office assistant. You'd make coffee and deliver the mail, and there was always plenty of work to do.
That's cool. Keep you busy.
And it stayed that way. Forever and ever. It was nice. Really nice.
That's debatable.
But here's the strange thing. The dream shifted, and none of it was real anymore. It was a game. We
Uno.
were in a game, and it was a fucking boring
Monopoly.
game. But you couldn't stop playing.
Definitely Monopoly. That's what he's referencing, not Uno.
And then it shifted again. Or maybe it was another dream already. Or maybe I'm just confusing them.
Maybe.
But in this other dream, it was more like a
They
musical.
did make him do musical numbers with those lights. Nice.
This is an ordinary
Fizzle loves the
song
colour
about an
of tacos very
ordinary
much.
girl
That's
from
true,
an
yeah.
ordinary town.
I think it's fair to
It's
compare
the
his situation to Uno.
ordinary
Uno must
story.
be more torturous. Only when you're not
She
playing
worked
it.
an ordinary job in an ordinary office.
It's a pretty shit song, dude.
Something, something.
That's a dancing. You can't just do a musical number of just singing.
That's all I
on
can
stage.
remember of that dream.
Maybe that's for the best.
I mean, just forever have.
Maybe I can learn more about this.
Is he just gonna have dreams forever?
Can we talk?
I just had an interesting
We share
dream.
trousers?
Shit.
That's fascinating, but let's talk about the hiss for a change, yeah?
This dream was about the hiss.
Best I'm gonna get.
In my dream, the hiss had broken free of this prison, this house. I'd set it free.
Oh shit!
The president himself was there to welcome us.
I could try and learn what you're saying,
He
but
was the first one.
it's fine.
to
I assume
take
we're
the
just being
hiss
very
in.
nice to each other.
Spread the word. At first, many people thought it was horrifying.
Oh.
That he was horrifying.
Oh.
But also, many people who heard his words wanted to welcome the hiss in.
Let's talk about our Fridays.
And slowly,
What, this guy?
more and more of them came around until
I mean,
the
if Bakura
whole
shaved.
world was brought together by the hiss. It was wonderful.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that.
We're gonna give it one more go, and then I'm gonna
For
go
the record,
help Fridge
that will
Dude.
never happen. Not as long as I'm alive.
There is more. Fucking hell.
Maybe I'm just here to punish myself.
Any new dreams you'd like to share, Dylan?
I'm glad you asked, sister. This dream, like all dreams now, felt very real. Like reality. And reality now feels like a dream. Maybe it's all a dream.
These cuts are weird.
Maybe it's all real.
Dream where my brother endlessly tells me about his dreams.
I was in a dark place. And there was a dark man there. His name was Mr. Door.
What a dumb
And
name.
he told me
I will say it in
there are
emojis. Fizz and
many
backs,
worlds,
dance. Oh, without
side
jeans.
by side, on
Yeah,
top
yeah,
of each
yeah.
other. Some inside of others.
It was all a dream.
In one world,
I used to read Word Up
there was
magazine.
a writer who wrote a story.
Don't think you
about
spoke to
a
Dylan
cop.
this much. It's a lot to say.
In another world, the cop was real. Door said he himself was in all of them at the same time.
I mean, how many
endlessly
dreams has this man
shifting
got?
between them. I asked him how I could
Can't remember
reach
that many
these
dreams I've had.
worlds. I wanted to bring the hiss there. But he didn't want to help me. He didn't like the idea.
Just didn't like him.
What did he know?
I'm not wild about the idea myself.
Okay, one more. I mean, just how many times are they going to let us talk to this bro about
Here we go
shitty
again.
dreams?
Once more with feeling.
Yeah.
Let me guess. You want to tell me about your dream?
Yes. Yes.
Think about
In
halfway
fact,
through the
I'm
story.
having
Okay,
a
nice one.
dream right now.
Oh. That's new.
In this dream, I'm standing in the corner watching Jesse and Dylan talk about this very dream.
Right.
This very dream! He said just now!
Oh, shit.
And repeated it again now!
Yep.
I'm standing there and watching, and that's all I can do. It's as if I'm trapped there. And that's all I have to say about that dream.
Okay, Dylan. That's good.
No, I said no more, but that was a short one.
Is he still in there? Or is this the hiss playing mind games? I don't know.
Okay, but there is no more to talk to him about now. Okay, sweet, we actually did all that. Sweet. Thank God. That was cool, the amount they put in there for him, though. Ah, yeah, Jukebox Tokens. Okay. Alright, let's go help Fridge Dude. think it was that one. I think it was literally in the next. If we've gone to the right one, he'll be in like the next one along. Back something peanut. Yep. Yep. I think I went to the wrong one. Yeah, I think it's a higher up one. Banks loves whole nuts. No. Well, ball nuts, I mean, they can be both things, right? Well, super quick fast travel, nice. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what can I do?
You're back. Oh, thank you, thank you. If I look away, I don't know what this thing will do. You have to get me out of here. The door can only be opened by the Panopticon supervisor. That's Langston, if he's still around.
He's all the way downstairs.
Yeah, I know him. I'll go ask him how to get you out.
Please hurry. My eyes, they can't. They can't.
Hey, calm down.
They can't what?
Just focus.
They can't what?
What's your name?
Focus. Right.
His name's Focus,
My
right?
name's Philip.
Oh.
And
Focus, right,
I think I can hold on for a bit. It's just my eyes.
PD's emoji game is strong. For real, yeah, for real.
Just hang on, Philip.
Having to stay something down terrifying. Trades are a pretty baller game, that's true. Oh, stare, yeah, that's it, yeah. Making sure your eyes never drift from it. So, yeah, I think if we go here, yeah, back through to security.
Cell breaches. Guess life's a breach.
There's someone named Philip up in a cell. He's watching a refrigerator and very rapidly losing it.
Philip? Oh shit, I forgot about fridge duty. He's been in there for over a day, I totally forgot.
What
You
dickhead?
forgot about him?
Yeah, what dickhead? Poor
There's
dude.
a lot going on.
So,
Kiss,
back
the Benikoff
loves
TV. Considering the number of
aubergines
things I'm juggling, ma'am, I think it's...
Listen, it's
day
fine. We just need to get him out of there.
into night.
He said you'd be able to open the cell door.
All day, all night. He loves the
Yeah, I
aubergines
can
all day, all
unlock it
night.
on my
I
terminal.
think that's what you're trying to say. He is a healthy
There.
dude.
Done, door open. But Philip can't just leave. The fridge is behaving erratically. Ocular contact is the only thing that seems to placate it. If we don't have someone in there watching it 24/7, people will die.
I'll figure something out.
Well, this dude
I'm
could die
pretty
if
good
not.
with these things.
Being pretty good with altered items isn't standard bureau procedure, ma'am.
Man.
He doesn't know us very well.
It's just a name. It's the name.
I'll see you later, Langston.
I'll be
Like, yeah, it's just we called it aubergine over here rather than eggplant. I think if you said eggplant over here, people would just look at you very weirdly like, the fuck?
Hello?
Is it me you're looking for?
I'm coming in.
Are we coming in after we've done Stream Raiders? Yay. So, fight, murder, attack. Also, after I've done this, I'll probably take a quick break and then we'll do a little bit of multiplayer before I head off. Yeah. I'm not sure what multiplayer though, so let me know if there's anything people are fancying. Jesus, Laser Games is taking a batter in there for everybody. A lot of archers going hard. Oh man, they're decimating us. Oh, that was a good one though. Oh no, shit! They done did us. Savage. Fuck off. Alright, let's try that again. So, right. Do I still need to put another arch down? I probably need a better one than this to defeat him, but let's go for it. Alright, let's go, guys. Get your best troops down, and hopefully we squish this nerd. Okay, back to it.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Power punch.
Jesse? The fridge is doing something!
Philip?
What'd you do to Philip?
I look away.
Where is he?
It hurts me.
Alright, here we go. Gothic phone did the event started. What?
This sounds like the board, but I can't
Back
understand
loves Tunisian tacos?
Fuck?
Oh, hello. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me. Fuck. Okay, right. Shit. Oh, turkey tacos, right. Did the event start on SR? Yeah, we got fucked up hard. Got charged. That was so hard without any health upgrades. Maybe, probably not. I'll probably do some other, like, multiplayer game, but we'll see. I mean, it depends what people want to play.
Hello? Jesse? Jesse? The fridge is doing something!
Philip?
Right, we got this. Just look away.
If I look away, it
Just gonna
hurts
make
me.
more suggestions. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, I can do that.
This sounds like
Lucio
the board.
pull on Overwatch.
I can't understand it.
I haven't got it installed, to be fair. It's been a long time since I played Overwatch. Oh, fucking hell. No garlic. Oh, this fucking thing, man. Fucking hell, this thing. Oh, you can throw the balls. Alright, so he puts holes in the floor, but I can throw his balls back in his face. So we're going to throw his balls back in his face, and then we'll just shield if we have any energy left after that. Okay. What's going to matter?
Hello? Jesse? The fridge is doing something!
Philip?
Alright, sweet. So did the fridge absorb him? Because I see blood, but I don't see Philip.
If I look away, it hurts me.
She needs to stop looking away. That is her problem.
This sounds like the board, but I can't understand it. What the fuck?
Take that, bitch. Oh, I couldn't grab it. I didn't have enough power. Yeah, no, shotgun at that range. It wasn't maybe the best shout. Oh, I was trying to fucking put my claws out. I fell through the fucking hole again. God damn it. Okay, well, we know what to do, and I just need to be more careful where I'm jumping, because he makes holes when he batters his fucking spider leg, wherever it's down. Okay. Once more, we're feeling.
Hello? Jesse? Jesse?
Philip?
Okay, we got this.
If I look away, it hurts.
Balls. I hate balls.
This sounds like the board, but I can't understand it. What the fuck?
Fucking grab that and it knows it. It's just being a bitch. Just sitting there now. Ah, I can fucking have my shield out in time. Oh fucking hell! I went straight for. Oh, and put me straight through the floor. Okay, we're gonna do this next time. I'm really need a piss and I need some caffeine. So we'll come back for this one. God damn though, man. This is a pretty savage fridge. You know, most of my fridges have been pretty easy and convenient to use. I don't think I'd buy one of these ones. I think, yeah, I think they'd just be a bit irritating long term.